Welcome to No Apologies on Beck, where we are unafraid to speak the truth. I'm your host, Rick Becker, co-host Lori Hintz.
Hi there.
I know you're pumped for tonight's show.
I'm very excited.
She's so excited about our guest.
I am.
I was excited, but in a
totally
reasonably
way,
logical level of excitement, but Lori's off the charts. So.
Well, I'm excited about this first segment just simply because we are starting a new series, if you will, and this series is of Biden's cabinet and people who are in the new administration. So we are starting with Jen Psaki.
Right. Now, that's not a cabinet member specifically. It's press secretary. We're starting with her because she's the most prominent. She's out there. She's on TV.
Well, she's basically the only one prominent because you don't see Biden and you don't see Harris.
So. We don't hear from Biden or Harris. We hear from Jen.
Psaki.
And so that's our relation to the administration at this time. So we're covering her, and
we have a lot of
it's
video.
An interesting. Yeah, we've got several videos. So when we go through other members of the cabinet, there won't be all these videos. We're going to be going through in a little more detail, but this one is just fun.
It is. This is very, very fun. First of all, we have not, as we said, heard much from Biden and Harris, but Jen will tell you what's going on, or she may just circle back. Let's see.
I'll circle back if there's more I can share with you. I'll circle back with you if there's more to convey. I'll have to just circle back with you. We can circle back. I'm happy to circle back with you. I can circle back. I will have to circle back on that one. That's an excellent question. Oh, such an important question. We will circle back with you, and we'll circle back with you. It's an interesting question, but we'll circle back. I'm happy to circle back, but I'll have to circle back with you on it. It's a good question, but we'll circle back with you on this today. We will certainly circle back with you more directly.
So there you have it.
She's known for that. They call her Circle Back Psaki. So there you have it. She is definitely no Kayleigh McEnany. Let's just put it that way. So she's a little different. This next one is interesting too because we've got another clip of her successor in the Obama administration State Department. Her background.
Her predecessor.
Oh, I'm sorry, predecessor. That's what I thought too. Her predecessor. I thought that was backwards too. But the other thing is she has actually done a bunch of different things for the Obama administration. Traveling press secretary for the presidential campaign in 2008, deputy press secretary. She was deputy communications director in 2009 for the Obama administration and press secretary for the re-election campaign. So she's had a little bit of experience. She was communications director. She's also been a CNN political commentator from 2017 through 2020, but she's got lots of experience.
She started all the way back when she was 22.
I know, right?
Re-election campaigns for Democrats Tom Harkin for U.S. Senate. Yep. So she's been
around for a while too. All right, let's check out this next one. This next one was her predecessor in the Obama administration's State Department. Take a look.
Welcome to the State Department. I think we have some interns in the back. Welcome. Good to see you in this exercise in transparency and democracy.
Is that what it is?
Sorry,
I
didn't mean to break
I thought it was an exercise in spin and obfuscation.
All right. Can you tell this is my last briefing?
Oh, that is so hilarious.
That was something. The Obama administration did claim to be all about transparency, and I think they claim to be the most transparent administration ever, which clearly they weren't. Jen Psaki, her stated position, her mantra is that they are vowing to bring truth and transparency back to the White House. Her predecessor, although claiming that, not so great.
He just laughed. That was hilarious.
Yeah, so, but we've got a video of her talking about that.
Thank you for joining us on this historic day. It's an honor to be here with all of you. When the president asked me to serve in this role, we talked about the importance of bringing truth and transparency back to the briefing room. And he asked me to ensure we are communicating about the policies across the Biden-Harris administration and the work his team is doing every single day on behalf of all American people. There will be times when we see things differently in this room, among all of us. That's okay. That's part of our democracy, and rebuilding trust with the American people will be central to our focus in the press office and in the White House every single day.
Now, it kills me that she says the word democracy because if you watch her, she uses that word way too much. It does not mean what I think you think it means, honey. It's so hilarious. Anyway, she's really interesting. She has some idiosyncrasies, which you will see as we go further here on this next one.
But with this transparency, this is there's something I find, we've talked about it, really, really concerning. Down on the border, they are preventing the press from going down there and looking at the detention facility, seeing what's happening. It is so overt. I mean, it is like what you'd see in a Chinese or North Korean
100%.
or Cuban
It's exactly the opposite
regime.
of transparency.
Right. So in the next clip, she's talking with Chris Wallace. And Chris Wallace asks her the obvious question, the question that everyone should be asking, because this is scary stuff when you're shutting down the press from seeing what's happening. That's the opposite of transparency. Let's watch this clip.
Jen, these kids are living in these conditions now. They're not living in these conditions some indeterminate time from now when the president says everything will be fixed. So why not allow reporters and camera crews in on a pool basis safely to take pictures and show the American people what's happening in those Border Patrol facilities right now?
Chris, we're absolutely committed to that. The president's committed to that. I'm committed to that. Secretary Mayorkas is committed to that. Just last week, we had a pool camera, including providing footage to Fox News just last week into the shelters. We want to provide access into the Border Patrol facilities. We are mindful of the fact that we are in the middle of a pandemic. We want to keep these kids safe, keep the staff safe, but we are absolutely committed to transparency and providing access to media to the Border Patrol facilities, and we're working to get that done as soon as we can.
But just to clarify, Jen, what you allowed a camera crew in to see the HHS facilities. What we're talking about here are the Border Patrol facilities, the detention cells, there is a law that let me just finish, that they are not allowed to be there for more than 72 hours. Many of them are there for 10 days. At this point, in terms of allowing access to Border Patrol facilities for reporters, you are being less transparent than the Trump administration.
Well, first of all, Chris, the Trump administration was turning away kids at the border, sending them back on the treacherous journey, or they were ripping kids from the arms of their parents. We're not doing that. We are committed to allowing cameras into the Border Patrol facilities. Absolutely. I will also say we're committed to solutions. That's why I noted that we reopened or opened 3 facilities that have almost 7,000 beds to allow for processing these kids more quickly out of the Border Patrol facilities. We absolutely agree these are not places for children, and our focus is on solutions and moving them as quickly as possible. We're also making sure we're processing kids more quickly at the border. Some of these kids come with a phone number in their pocket. It might be of a parent. Right. We want to make sure we're breaking through the red tape and getting them to their parents as quickly as possible.
Oh, that's so funny. I mean, it's great. It is delightful to hear her talk about transparency. It just makes me laugh. Meanwhile, we're getting nothing too. However, they are very transparent about Hunter Biden, aren't they?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
We heard nothing about that, about the Hunter Biden thing. That is totally squashed by this lady. So she's doing a good job, I guess. Let's take a look at what she says about Hunter Biden.
So there was a report last year from the Senate Finance and Homeland Security Committees. It claimed that the wife of Moscow's former mayor paid a company associated with the president's son $3.5 million. There was no explanation for this alleged payments, and I'm wondering if you could tell us if that claim is accurate, and if so, what the $3.5 million was paid for.
Not familiar with that claim. Doesn't sound like it's backed up by a lot of evidence. If you have evidence or specifics, happy to discuss it
the
further.
Senate committee's report. So you haven't asked about this, or?
I am not familiar with the report at all.
Not familiar.
She just totally lied. She talked about it in December and then came back again and goes, I'm sorry, I've never heard of that before.
Yeah. So she's living up to what press secretaries are known for, which is lying right through their teeth. She's definitely not living up to the transparency pledge that she holds. I mean, obvious, not answering Chris Wallace's question, feigning ignorance on the Biden story. It's going to be more of the same.
I'm going to give her some grace. It's difficult to come up with things for an administration like this. So she's got her work cut out for her. But she does have, like I mentioned, some idiosyncratic things. She has a crutch word, and I use the same one. And now I'm going to have to strike that from my vocabulary after watching this.
but I wanted to take a moment to we are President Biden's. There are a number of ways to combat misinformation. One of them is I'm not a monster. We have prioritized there's no question about it. Unity.
When you can't find answers to your recurring health challenges, it can feel like your health and your future are being held hostage. The Wellness Way is a network of health restoration clinics that think and act differently to solve the health challenges others can't. Here, we disrupt the standard approach to care through a combination of testing, individual plans, and one-on-one guidance, putting your health and your future where they belong, in your own hands.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Every great pizza has a secret. At New York To Go, that secret lies in our perfectly recreated New York water, the key ingredient to making our signature New York-style pizza. We also feature gyros, with the region's only gyro meat spit, plus Nathan's hot dogs, calzones, and our delicious jumbo buffalo wings. Try a 14-inch or our special giant 20-inch pizza tonight. You gotta know how to fold them if you want to hold them. New York To Go, we deliver for you.
Hey Bucks fans, if you're planning an outing, birthday, or employee appreciation night, then bring your group out to the Buck Stop for a night of fast-paced, high-scoring football. Your group will receive discounted tickets, options for reserved seating, scoreboard messages, VIP services, swag, and a space to gather during the game. You can also participate in pre-game ceremonies, halftime entertainment, in-game contests, and more. Call 701-595-0771 or visit bismarckbucks.com/tickets. All GA is first come, first serve. We'll see you on the turf. Go Bucks!
Welcome back to No Apologies on Beck. Well, we are very, very happy to have guest with us, Corey Lee, Stark County Sheriff. Super happy you're here. You're
Great.
kind of a Lori
kind of
granted.
a rock star.
I was just going to say granted rock star status to you.
Yeah, pretty excited
Thank
about
you.
this. So we have some really awesome guests on this show, not going to lie, and this one is one of my favorites. So let's talk
All
a
right,
little bit
yeah,
about
there's so much to talk about. We're going to be we've got a whole array. Corey's going to be on with us for 2 segments. Just to start things off, just tell our viewers a little bit where you're from, or what Stark County includes what, and when did you get elected? Just a brief intro.
Okay, I was elected November of 2018. I took over, January 1st, 2019. Stark County obviously encompasses the city of Dickinson, and of course the west side of the county is Belfield and the east is Richardson, so it's kind of a long spread out county from east to west.
Gotcha. Are you seeing, you've only been there a couple years, are you seeing any trends, anything changing during your stint so far?
Well, I actually was I started with the Dickinson Police Department in 2005, so I've been out in the area for quite a long time. Went out before the oil boom, kind of wanted to, third generation law enforcement, wanted to kind of a smaller town feel where you can kind of get to know everybody, and then of course the oil boom happened and that all kind of blew up, and a little different scenario there. But
yeah, I would imagine it's been a challenge, but probably interesting.
Very interesting, very interesting.
That's awesome. I think, I could be wrong on the details, but I think the first time we met, we talked right off the bat about this aspect about trying to balance liberty and security, and there's that aspect, where like some folks like me maybe have a reputation for being anti-cop or anti-law enforcement.
Actually, I had to laugh the first time we met, and I don't remember who said it to me, but obviously I was a new sheriff last biennium and was on the legislative floor, which is an amazing process. Everyone should experience it. It's a very cool process, and the person next to me nudged me and said, "That's that Rick Becker from Bismarck, and he's anti-law enforcement." Well, that made me just absolutely want to go up and talk to you, which I did. I came over and talked to you right away, and after 5 minutes, this guy's not anti-law enforcement at all. So it was kind of humorous. But.
Well, and I appreciate that, because there's a lot of people in law enforcement that don't have the opportunity or don't take the opportunity. And believe that. So you're the first person that came up and said, "Yeah, this is what I heard about you," but I mean, essentially, you were just giving me a chance to either prove that rumor right or prove it wrong. So I really respect that.
Don't believe labels.
No. Yeah, so I think it's interesting because, I go up against all sorts of agencies in the state because of policy, because of financing. And if I was anti-whatever for every agency, I went against what they wanted in their budget. It is probably true. I do hate everybody except 56-year-old white males. But anyway, I just want to say again, I respect that. I appreciate it. I'm so glad you gave me the opportunity because since that time, I've very much enjoyed your company. So
thank you.
All right, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the mask mandate, because boy, you gained some popularity with that. We're talking about the statewide mask mandate. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, when you gain popularity, you also agitate the other side too as well. But
yes, we know that well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The mask mandate came out on a Friday evening. That kind of rubbed me the wrong way from the beginning. And, so I was on the phone all night Friday night, all morning Saturday morning. I made some contacts with some of our, upper echelon of our local governments, and, we were kind of on the same page. So I wanted to put something out to put the people at rest, to show that, we're not going to go around citing people for not wearing masks. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's not going to happen. So I ended up putting out a video in retrospect. I'm not going to do that again.
But it was so good. I love this video so much.
You can play some. Yeah, go for it. Go for it. But, we followed that up with a written statement clarifying. And the problem is with the video, you can put out a 4-minute video and then they take 15 seconds, slap it on the national news, and they catch it.
Did that happen to you?
Yes, it did. It certainly did. So I end up with death threats.
So I did send a little bit of the video to the guys. I think it portrays things accurately, and it gives a sense that you're a real person respecting the rights of individuals to make their own decisions. So let's play that clip.
Good afternoon, Stark County. I am Stark County Sheriff Corey Lee. I just wanted to put out a quick message this afternoon here to reply to a lot of the messages and questions we're getting concerning the mandate Governor Burgum put out regarding COVID and COVID response plan for the next month here through December 14th. In that plan, Governor Burgum made a statement that referred to law enforcement prioritizing education and reserving penalties for the most egregious infringements. That is exactly what we're going to do. In a nutshell, we will not be enforcing mandates mask mandates. We will not be enforcing mandates on businesses. That will be up to the individual business to decide whether or not they want to comply with the guidelines Governor Burgum has set forth. Obviously, the state can take certain actions against businesses, and certainly we can try to get involved, as the case may be, there to help businesses in their fight against any unjust action, as the case may be there.
It's just so
I thought
well
that was
stated.
awesome.
It was just very clear and chill, and I loved it.
Well, and the idea was, we're representing people's personal freedoms, and and there's both sides, and it was about respect, and some of the businesses took it the wrong way, and they thought that we weren't going to support them if they wanted to have mask mandates in business. Certainly, we were going to do that, and it's their right to require that just as much as it's our right to not want to wear it in public. So
you bet. Well, I thought that was awesome that you came out and said what you said. I think, did you say it was also Hettinger Sheriff did something of the same nature?
Well, once mine came out, everybody in the Southwest seemed like they kind of came together, so that was nice.
That was great. Wonderful. The Freedom Parade, tell me a little bit about that.
That was, one of those things that just kind of springs up. Once again, I maybe rub some people the wrong way with that, but what we have every year is the Rough Rider Days out in Southwest North Dakota, and we have a commission called the Rough Rider Commission that puts it on every year. They do an awesome job, great people. They just go above and beyond every year. Well, this year last year, 2020, they had to make a hard decision. And they went ahead and just canceled everything, and it was a very uncertain time, and we can't blame them for that, and nobody certainly did, but we time kind of went along, and people were so uncertain and scared, and I think after a couple months everybody was going stir crazy, and we could see the need for something, and we had an opportunity to do something for the people that I thought was a safe event. I mean, it's outside. It was, again, you can choose to go or not to go. You can spread out as much as you want. It's a parade. The parade actually fell. The 4th of July parade actually fell on a Saturday this year. So it's always on a Saturday. So that was actually the 4th of July. So I could not fathom not having something. So about 2 months before this came to fruition, I had put something out on Facebook, just kind of to see what the feel was.
Testing the waters a little bit.
Oh my God, the reception was just
ecstatic.
Amazing. Yes, and so we put a parade committee together, and I'll tell you what, we had this event, and I don't know if you've ever been involved in organizing an event like this, but you're behind the scenes, and there was over 120 entries, and that. It doesn't sound like a hard thing to put together a parade, but you have to get all these people in order because it's on the radio. You got to have the whole lineup in order. And it was organized chaos. It was a great time. But my deal was, I threw this together. Actually, it was my idea, but I mean, the group that put it on was amazing. I mean, this was a great group of people from our community that made this thing happen. But I did not want to lead this parade. Typically, when we have a parade, it's myself and the chief of police at Dickinson that are in front of the parade route. Being that this was my idea and I wanted to bring this to fruition, I didn't feel right being in front of the parade, if that makes sense. I didn't want it to be about me. So we had the chief of police and the highway patrol, and then we had our parade marshal, Irene Schaefer, was a 91-year-old lady that runs our town. She's an amazing woman. And then we had the American Legion float, with all the flags and the bikes and stuff. And then I went behind those guys. And so I didn't come out onto the parade route until, the other guys did. So I was kind of, like I said, after getting everybody arranged and in order, I was kind of fourth back. And I was so scared that I was going to come around that corner and there was not going to be anybody there. We did all this work for, potentially, nobody to be there. And I could not believe, I've been a part of this parade since 2005. Like I said, I've never missed a parade. I love parades. I came around that corner and I've never seen so many people wall to wall, as far as you could see. It was the best turnout I've ever seen.
Wonderful.
People needed this, people wanted it, and they showed up in huge numbers. It was
good
awesome.
for you. Good for you. What an asset for Dickinson and Stark County.
Right?
We try.
All right.
We are going to be back with another segment with Corey Lee. Hang with us, folks.
When you can't find answers to your recurring health challenges, it can feel like your health and your future are being held hostage. The Wellness Way is a network of health restoration clinics that think and act differently to solve the health challenges others can't. Here, we disrupt the standard approach to care through a combination of testing, individual plans, and one-on-one guidance, putting your health and your future where they belong, in your own hands.
40 years ago, Aero service team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero service team does it all.
We're the ladies of Another View, bringing you a fresh view on local issues. Thank you for your patience and understanding.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that the most condescending, rude email you've ever received?
Well, welcome to
National
the
news.
third term of a certain president. I really believe that.
And different perspectives you won't get on the mainstream media. Watch us weekday afternoons at 4:30 Central Time on Beck News and at beck.news.
40 years ago, Aero service team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero service team does it all.
Every great pizza has a secret. At New York To Go, that secret lies in our perfectly recreated New York water, the key ingredient to making our signature New York-style pizza. We also feature gyros, with the region's only gyro meat spit, plus Nathan's hot dogs, calzones, and our delicious jumbo buffalo wings. Try a 14-inch or our special giant 20-inch pizza tonight. You gotta know how to fold them if you want to hold them. New York To Go, we deliver for you.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
Welcome back to No Apologies on Beck, your after-hours oasis of sanity. And if you're not sane, we're going to make you be sane because we have a guy with a gun.
Legit.
I don't even know how that works, but okay. Anyway, we're back with Corey Lee, the most impressive sheriff from Stark County. We are just stroking your ego tonight. I got to take it down a
more than I
notch.
can handle.
I got to take it down.
Plus, he's probably going to get ribbed a little bit back at the department. So
Okay.
All right, so I want to talk a little bit about the balance between liberty and security. I know that you've got the laws that you follow, but also at the same time you have to use common sense in your position. It's a dance.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. You know, our main goal, you know, is life, liberty, property. That's the role of the sheriff. But I mean, common sense and law enforcement hand in hand. I mean, that's a huge part of what we do, and you know, we can't lose focus of that. I mean, that is day and night, every day. You know.
I've long said that if you're a law-abiding citizen, you have no better ally than a law enforcement officer who respects the Constitution.
Absolutely.
Absolutely factual statement.
And yet across the country, everybody's trying to defund law enforcement right now, and it makes no sense to me whatsoever.
Not everybody.
I know.
Just the leftists.
I know.
We're extremely fortunate in North Dakota, I'll tell you what, as a law enforcement community. I've never I couldn't imagine being anywhere else. The support is just, it's unbelievable.
I've marched in a couple of Back the Blue things myself, and I have it in my car because I feel that way too. And I think I love living in the community that appreciates law enforcement. I feel the same way.
I put out a Facebook video where, so the 2 times where it was actually important to back the blue, DAPL and BLM.
Amen.
And I was out in front doing my messages saying, this is bullcrap, we support our guys and gals. And because of that, for the BLM stuff, I lost a bunch of employees from the bar and had to close the bar for a while.
What?
Yeah. Can you believe that? That's how anti-law enforcement I am. Enough about me.
Wow.
I want to talk about guns. So another thing I respect very much about you, Corey, is your respect for the Second Amendment. And we've had several gun bills come through, and I think that when you've been there, you've been very even-handed on things. There are some that do have inherent problems, some of the bills. Many don't. There's one coming up, and it's my bill, 1383. This bill is, I think, meeting some resistance, select resistance with law enforcement, primarily, I think, BCI, Bureau of Criminal Investigation. And what the bill does is it says that local and state law enforcement shall not enforce federal gun laws that are more restrictive than state gun laws. And then it gives a bunch of exceptions, you know, if someone is actually threatening or doing something with it. But the idea behind it is that we don't put people like you in the position of having to knock on the door of someone in Dickinson or wherever they may be to say, we have to arrest you because you didn't get your federal firearms license under the Biden administration, or because you didn't jump through the hoops and you still have an AR-15 when they're outlawed, you know, things like that.
Which we won't do anyway. But
well, you won't. You won't, and that's wonderful. But that may not, so this is a prohibition for any state and local law enforcement, even those that would be very happy to do such a thing. And where do you stand on that? And I know you don't have the bill in front of you, but do you have a sense of where you might stand?
And I did read the bill again today. But I think the most important part of these is the wording. And I think when it comes to our legislative committee at the Sheriffs and Chiefs, you know, you have several different people reading the same bill, but interpreting a different way. So what I like to do is get a hold of the sponsor or talk to who wrote the bill and just simply this: what is the spirit of the bill? That's all I want to know. You know, I read the jargon, but what is it you're trying to accomplish? And when I hear that, it really brings it home to me. And I wish more, you know, sheriffs, chiefs, whoever would do that. And then there would be a clearer, better understanding. And you and I have had this conversation before about, you know, these things getting to committee. I think we need to have these discussions beforehand. I think, you know, if you and I could sit down, or you and whoever, and write these bills together, put something together, then we wouldn't have to go to committee, rehash it, you know, and have our little squabbles in committee like we do now. And like this year, there was a couple bills that I think were very good, but that ended up being too late, and we couldn't get them through because, you know, the timeline. So I think there'd be a lot less of that if we would just come together beforehand. You know, God forbid we all work together and accomplish something.
Yes, that would be something. So yeah, I'm gonna send you a little memo or whatever on the bill of what my intent is and all of that. I guess if you're meeting, you know, maybe that would be helpful. I know that's going to be heard in committee on Monday already, and I did work with BCI on it, and I thought I addressed their concerns. I changed the bill according to what their concerns were, but it wasn't good enough, I guess.
Well, and like I said, I read the bill today, and I personally, I think it's a good, decent bill. I don't see a lot of issue with it.
Okay, cool. Are there any other gun bills that have gone through or have not successfully gone through that stick out in your mind as being particularly good or bad?
You know, there were several things that went through this year. You know, we kind of put it out there in Stark County here at it wasn't our last meeting, the meeting before. We passed a resolution basically saying what your bill here says now, 1383, that, you know, we're just not going to go out and enforce this stuff. You know, we obviously love our relationships with our other entities and our federal agencies, but, you know, we're not going to go out and infringe on people's rights.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Stark County and Emmons County are listed as Second Amendment sanctuary counties by various national organizations. So it's on the map. Now let's just make it statewide. That's what I say.
Perfect.
All right.
Excellent stuff.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I'd love to talk to you a lot more, but I think we're going to call it good. Our segment's up here. So, Corey, thanks so much for being with us. Hopefully we'll see you in the legislature later this week or early next week.
Great. Thank you for having me, guys. Appreciate
Thanks a lot. Stark County, Dickinson, you're lucky people. Lucky, lucky.
All right.
Hang with us. We are going to have Mailbag next. Mailbag.
Today's households have more digital devices than ever before. More links to family, business, education, and entertainment. Beck Communications spent over 10 years building North Dakota's fastest fiber optic internet service. Beck Lightband Internet, outpacing speeds in large cities nationwide. Lightband Internet handles all your digital needs without throttling your connection to the world. Beck Communications, valuable digital connections in rural North Dakota.
Watch No Filter with me, Debbie Schlussel, for no-nonsense, unfiltered analysis of the news that matters to you. You'll see engaging guests.
It began a 444-day nightmare.
Entertaining analysis. And it has everything to do with something that happened in history. And honest movie reviews. Trust me, this is just atrocious. No Filter with Debbie, weeknights at 10 p.m. Central on Beck News and online at beck.news.
Every great pizza has a secret. At New York To Go, that secret lies in our perfectly recreated New York water, the key ingredient to making our signature New York-style pizza. We also feature gyros, with the region's only gyro meat spit, plus Nathan's hot dogs, calzones, and our delicious jumbo buffalo wings. Try a 14-inch or our special giant 20-inch pizza tonight. You gotta know how to fold them if you want to hold them. New York To Go. We deliver for you.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and as you know, my passion is to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. That's why I created my new Giza Dreams bed sheets. I started by using the world's best cotton called Giza. It's only grown in a region between the Sahara Desert, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Nile River. It's ultra soft and breathable, but extremely durable. My Giza sheets also include full 21-inch wide pillowcases that will fit over any pillow and deep pocket sheets that will fit over any mattress. The first night you sleep on my sheets, you'll never want to sleep on anything else.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now to get your very own MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets. Giza Dream Sheets are available in a variety of colors. Use your promo code, and for a limited time, when you buy one set of sheets, you'll get another set absolutely free.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Yay!
Wow, mailbag.
I know, so fancy.
Mailbag. We don't have to do this
I know,
anymore.
right? Which is nice because jazz hands are awkward.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got some great stuff in the mailbag today. We've got a couple of emails. We've got some Facebook and social media posts to share with you. Let's start right off the bat with an email that came to you.
Yeah. Yes, 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 yes. I get lots of hate mail. So we had a bill on the floor, and it was about Native American studies. I mean, teaching Native American history and the interaction, so on and so forth. But it was so detailed. We don't have anything else like that in Century Code to go into the detail of each chapter, each segment you're wanting to teach. More than that, it started off by saying that they had to teach about the impacts on Native Americans. So it originated from a very social justice, very leftist point of view.
Got it.
And we just, it's not proper to have that kind of detail in Century Code. You let the school districts teach the way they want, and Native American history relative to North Dakota history and U.S. history is already being taught.
Okay.
So I
Well,
didn't.
this looked really mad, like
Right.
somebody was really
So,
unhappy.
so this one is saying, did I read correctly the comments you made about not integrating more Native history into the curriculum in North Dakota? You are the kind of human that my Native American father had to be hidden from when he was growing up in Fargo, North Dakota. That's you spewing your ignorance and hatred of people and my culture. My father was forced to hide in a dirt cellar, yada, yada. You are disgusting. You should be ashamed of yourself. You are the reason hate is multiplied instead of kindness and understanding. And this is a person who feels that they are forced to be invisible and silent by ignorant white people.
Wow.
So,
that wasn't your intent at all with any of that.
So the point of me bringing up the email is simply that when it comes to those things on the left that you are just supposed to fall in line with, something as simple and benign as should we list out these types of things in century code for what we're teaching, you can have a valid reason against it, but that's not allowed because, as we always say, the left silences dissenting speech. It has all sorts of interest in diversity, but not diversity of opinion or intellectual diversity. That is not tolerated.
Exactly. Well, let's take a look at another one. We've got another email that this one, hello, Rick. I would like, now this one's actually on 2 pages. As you can see on the bottom, it says continued, but we'll go through it real quick here. Hello, Rick. I would like someone that is an elected official answer an easy question for me. I think you may be brave enough to give the answer.
I don't know.
Since you answer some difficult questions on your Beck Show, I have been in contact with our federal elected officials, Hoven, Kramer, Armstrong, and my North Dakota district officials, and they just won't answer. The question follows. Why don't they teach gun safety in the public schools? After all, it is our tax dollars being wasted teaching in schools, and we should have some say as to what is being taught. It should be taught from kindergarten up to graduation from high school, in my opinion. The first couple of years could be in-depth and refreshers after that. Continued. There is a lot of worthless crap taught in schools, gender studies, sex education garbage, whites are racist, 1619, etc. There are quite a few people that are not raised around firearms and just have no idea what they can really do, and some of them equate them to some stupid video games, blah, blah, blah. So he goes on a little bit. He says, I'll be watching your show with Lori on Beck to see what you guys may think of my question about gun safety. Can't wait to see if you will tackle this question.
But the most important statement you left out. I feel it's
too damn much
government
Right.
interference in child rearing.
That's true. That
the
is
government doesn't know as much as they think they do.
Well,
that is
he
true.
or she is correct. I would agree with that as
true.
well. That is very, very true. So I do remember that at one point there was driver's education was part of a high school curriculum, and way back, I'm certain that gun safety was probably also part of the curriculum in schools years and years ago.
Well, I'm sure it was, and so this kind of goes back to what I would say from the previous one, which is I agree with you 100%, but it's not something that state elected officials should put in century code or statute. This is something that should be done in schools, but it should come, if it's not being done, it should come from the parents talking to their school board, talking to their superintendent.
So
and
get
make it
yourself
happen
elected
that
to the school board and push for it. Do it.
That's the way to do it. There's your answer.
Yep.
And you're welcome for me being brave enough to answer that.
Next time, now we're going to look here on some social media stuff. So this first one, should a school dish out loyalty checks with teachers who voluntarily get vaccinated? This comes from the Newtown School, which did just that. And so we did a story on this program earlier about that, and people are commenting on this query, if you will. Is that legal? Why is this even a question? Absolutely no. Money to burn? What a harebrained idea. Absolutely not, says someone. What happens if there is a reaction to the vaccination? Will this fall back on their employer because they are enticing them? Paying people for buying into the propaganda. And then on the right it says bribing them to allow unapproved concoctions into their bodies. I believe they are approved. They're not necessarily FDA approved, but they have been approved by someone because they would not be mass vaccinations. Anyway, way to show your ignorance, Newtown Public Schools. I believe that is putting pressure on staff, which is coercion, and that is unlawful. And then a viewer added a graph, a little graphic on there from Newtown schools, which we went and we looked for the bigger version or the actual page from which it comes. So this is now it's really hard to see, but fear not, we've got smaller versions of these coming up so that you can see them.
This is student achievement scores. And
this is for Newtown.
Yep, it's from Newtown. And what you can see is in the top category,
ELA, which is English Language Arts Achievement. So this is English. And you can see where that black line cuts through the center there, that is essentially average. So everything below that is, for instance, partially proficient, or yeah, there's all sorts of delightful words there too.
But when you look at the top bar, it's the statewide scores. And if you look at the middle bar, it's that full district that the school is in. And if you look at the bottom bar, it's that school in particular. So it just so happens that that school is doing pretty crappy, and maybe instead of
spending money on vaccinations, they may want to consider.
Right. Let's look at math for these guys.
Yeah, right?
Not so good. Nicht so gut.
No, just tough stuff. And then if you go and you look at science.
70%, holy.
Yeah, these are not that great. So thank you especially to that viewer who decided to alert us to Newtown, because they've got some issues beyond paying teachers to get vaccinated, I would say.
Yes, absolutely they do. All right, well that does it for Mailbag this time around. Stick with us, folks. We are going to talk about a couple more executive orders or memorandi from Biden.
When you can't find answers to your recurring health challenges, it can feel like your health and your future are being held hostage. The Wellness Way is a network of health restoration clinics that think and act differently to solve the health challenges others can't. Here, we disrupt the standard approach to care through a combination of testing, individual plans, and one-on-one guidance, putting your health and your future where they belong, in your own hands.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Big shout out to North Dakota and Beck News, where you can watch the Dr. Duke Show each weekday at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time.
North Dakota is one of the last bastions of sanity in our republic. The legislature consistently passes pro-life and family legislation. This session, North Dakota legislature is trying to thwart efforts to allow boys to say they are girls and play on girls' sports teams. Go North Dakota.
And thanks for carrying the Dr. Duke Show on Beck TV.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Every great pizza has a secret. At New York To Go, that secret lies in our perfectly recreated New York water, the key ingredient to making our signature New York-style pizza. We also feature gyros, with the region's only gyro meat spit, plus Nathan's hot dogs, calzones, and our delicious jumbo buffalo wings. Try a 14-inch or our special giant 20-inch pizza tonight. You gotta know how to fold them if you want to hold them. New York To Go, we deliver for you.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
Hey, 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 we're back. It's No Apologies on Beck, and it is segment 5. You've made it through once again.
This time, rather than Biden's executive orders, it's technically still part of his executive orders, but these are proclamations.
Proclamations. Not even the memorandi.
No,
now, is memorandi correct, or is it memoranda?
No, memorandi.
Die? Duh?
I think so. Aye.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so the first one. Bring it on up. It's a proclamation on American Heart Month. American Heart Month 2021.
So this was enacted February 3rd of this year. It is an appeal to emotion on heart disease, in a nutshell. We are also committed to closing the racial disparities, there it is, right, I mean, right in the first sentence here, in cardiovascular health. Despite an overall, see, I'm saying, like Jen Psaki now, all right, despite an overall decline in death rates for heart disease, risk of heart disease, death differs by race and ethnicity, and Black Americans continue to have the highest death rate for heart disease. Because we can't just leave this about heart disease. We have to bring race into it immediately, because it is a proclamation.
Right. Well, and so there's such a simple thing, and there's so much to unpack.
Right.
Now, it's easy. They can just say, oh, there's a racial disparity in heart disease. Well, is that because of racism? What is it? Is it a genetic predilection to heart disease? Is it have anything to do with diet or exercise?
Exactly.
I mean, what does it have to do with? It's silly that he brings it up. But interestingly, in his proclamation, he also says, we have seen the death rate from heart attacks rise dramatically during the COVID-19 pandemic because people are delaying or not seeking care after experiencing symptoms.
Well, why is that?
Right, exactly. It's because of the foolishness of the government freaking everybody out and causing a backlog in all sorts of important health-related things. Congratulations, you did that. They say, they go on to say, by wearing red. So the First Lady encourages everyone to wear red on Friday, February 5th. Oh, that was already, okay. Did you wear red?
No.
Okay.
I am wearing red.
Well, by wearing red, we honor those we have lost. So it's like hashtag I care, hashtag notice me,
exactly.
hashtag I have virtue.
Like, seriously, virtue signaling
Blah, blah, blah,
constantly.
blah, blah.
That's so very true.
Yes, indeed. All right. Let's go to the next one, a proclamation on National Black History Month.
Now, this is interestingly also on February 3rd, 2021. So it's the same month, only a different proclamation for a totally different month. Now, I know that's kind of interesting to me, but all right.
Okay. Yes, it says here, it is long past time to confront deep racial inequities and the systemic racism, no such thing, that continue to plague our nation. A knee to the neck of justice opened the eyes of millions of Americans and launched a summer of protest and stirred the nation's conscience. Platitudes, blah, 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 platitudes, blah, blah, blah.
A knee to the neck of justice,
Yeah.
Gracie. Really?
Yep.
Okay.
It goes on, we saw a broad coalition of Americans of every race and background registered and voted, more people than in any other election in our nation's history, to heal these wounds and unite and move forward as a nation.
But wait a minute, didn't Trump's numbers go up among minority voters during this? It seems to me that his numbers with Hispanics and Blacks were off the charts this time. So that's interesting.
Yes, it's very interesting. He goes on, he says, pandemic has further ripped a path of destruction through every community in America. We see its acute devastation among Black Americans who are dying, losing jobs, or closing businesses at disproportionate rates in the dual crisis of the pandemic and the economy. There's not a dual crisis, there's one crisis. The economy is your crisis. And the disparity is because the moronic blue state governors and blue city mayors did more damage. So blacks who live in those communities are being hurt.
The systemic racism.
I don't understand how you can be so dumb.
Okay,
next graphic.
One more. Proclamation of National Black History Month. And this one, this one too, again, we do so because the soul of our nation will be troubled as long as systemic racism is allowed to persist. That just kills me. How many times can they put that in these things? It's corrosive. I mean, yeah, these proclamations are corrosive.
Yeah, so right here, he's talking about systemic racism. There is not systemic racism, except if what he wants to do, what the Biden administration do, what the leftists want to do is by definition, systemic racism. They want everything to be viewed through the lens of one's skin color.
Exactly.
That is systemic racism. What we have now is not systemic racism. The United States of America has not had systemic racism for decades and decades. Absolutely moronic.
No, they perpetuate that. And they do these things because they figure it will deliver the election results that they want. That's the only reason for even bringing all this up, is that they figure that that's going to bring them some result in the elections.
Okay, let's bring up the last one.
Last one. This is, interestingly, another February 3rd proclamation. Now, so all three of these for the same month of February. And this one is a proclamation on National Teen Dating Violence Awareness and Prevention Month. So very interesting. So having February be several months at the same time is clear evidence of continuing systemic injustice, racism, sexism, and other isms, since minorities who have heart disease at a higher rate than white people have to share a month with black historical figures, and are not conservatives, and with female, transgender, and gender nonconforming youth, but heterosexual white men get all the other months. They get all the other months.
There is an injustice here that Biden is creating, because Black Month is the month of February. It's 1 month, so 1 out of 12. But they have to share it. They have to share it with violent teenagers and people with heart disease. So really, they're getting 1/36 of the year. And those damn whites, what, they get the rest of it? What kind of baloney is that?
It's so inequitable. It's just not equity. All right, we're done with these proclamations, but they were all for February. So all right.
In that last one, he says he wants to promote healthy relationships. How deep can the government, the federal government, get into our lives? You're going to promote healthy relationships in teenagers, you idiot.
Join us tomorrow. We will be profiling another one of Biden's cabinet members, and we will also speak to somebody about oil and CO2 subsidies. Join us next for
But I wanted to take a moment to we are President Biden's. There are a number of ways to combat misinformation. One of them is I'm not a monster. We have prioritized there's no question about it.